And when it comes to that being a catalyst, right, it's good for Bitcoin, but it's also good for certain narratives in the space that I want to highlight within the show. And then as well, I'm going to speak around some short-term plays where I might see the market turn over the weekend to prepare for the weekly close at the end of the week. So lots to speak around. Today is very much an altcoin show. I want to go through your guys' altcoins at the end of the stream as well. And remember, today I'm giving away money on the stream. So do me a favor, like up, and let's go.
I try and help everyone in my space, and this is what I get. I try and fight the devils, but inside I'm just like Sniper. Welcome to Sheldon Show.
How we doing, guys? Are we good? Day 4,383 of the bear market. We're still here. Guys, it's been, when last we see a pump? It's been, I give us kudos for getting out of bed every morning and still being here. It's been wild, been absolutely wild. We're in the depths of it right now. We just keep showing up, we keep going. Hope you guys are good. Now, again, I think the number one type of thing to keep motivated right now, keep in play, is literally high time frames, right? High time frames where we're at right now, and just preparing ourselves for the next cycle. You know, mentally getting through where we got to get, trading where we can. You know, you got to remember something always, right? The market always gets to a point of like nearly being completely dead, right? And then somehow it comes back to life, right? It's happened many times before. But nonetheless, you do, as I've spoken a few times before, but you do really get these different grades of entries, right? You get A grade, B grade, C grade entries, and A grade comes in the absolute depth when no one's left in the markets. Right, they're kind of entries where I do believe your 10, your 20x's, you know, that we've seen many times before, like they're kind of born in these times over here. So I do think there's, as much as it's been really tough, I think it's huge opportunities. And as I go through all different markets in the world, you know, I still very much see this as being a big part of where the biggest opportunities are sitting. However, the only thing that I think that has happened is times have kind of changed, right? We got millions of altcoins now. I don't think everyone's going to pump anymore, but I do think there's certain players that are going to rise to the top. Now, we do have Clarity Act. I think it's by the 7th. They need to make a decision. So that's around the corner. This could be a big catalyst. Charts are saying there is a catalyst coming. There is something that's going to bring a move come at any point, and that could possibly be one of them. Now, if it does pass, guys, it's very likely we're going to see a short-term rise. Now, I don't think it's the rise that kind of takes us on the massive bull run just yet. But I think it gives us space from where we are now, right? I think it gives us that move of at least up to a 20-30% move in some altcoins, at least a 10-15% move up in Bitcoin. Then I think there is a little cool down stage, and I think we actually need to get the traditional markets back to healthy, right? With these rate hikes possibly coming and, you know, a lot of pressure on those markets, I think that needs to start turning for us to get into that full bull territory. Okay, but nonetheless, when you kind of look at markets resetting and starting again, you kind of look at the feel of they start off a little bit slow and then they speed up, right? So I think for me, what we're looking for is the entry where we get that gap, right? We get that small little move up, which seems small, but on high time frames, it's pretty big, right? When it comes to percentage-wise, give us some room, right? And then I do think as things start to shift, I do see a possible strong move from the stock market coming closer to Q3, Q4 of the year as well. Then I think we start getting into really the exciting times where things really start to speed up when it comes to play. So for me, the big motivation today is we are literally in the depths of the smallest percentage that are left in the market that will make the most money, right? And I do see us having huge opportunities in the market, but let's play quite smart when it comes to narratives. Right? I think decentralized finance is still going to be, guys, there's so much regulations going on everywhere, right? There's so many things starting to shift, you know, and things are slowly starting to move back to decentralized, you know, the whole reason why crypto kind of starts. So decentralized is a very big part of these things. I think AI is obviously a big part too. I think security tokens, right? These are type of things of where I think true value and things are going to rally. Now, at the same time, I do think at any point we'll see a total altcoin move. Right, I still think you're going to have the meme pumps and you're still going to have these things. But when it comes to like real long-term plays and catching the entire wave, I think focusing on the right narratives is super important. So I want to quickly highlight and go through a couple of things here. Let's just see if my charts are in the right place. Okay, cool. So this is where we're at, guys. This is where we're at. So we obviously got Bitcoin. Guys, if I must be honest, it's bouncing in the right place. Right? It doesn't seem like we're making much progress, but it's bouncing in the right place, right? In this month, we did see us start the month at 58,000, right? So we must remember we started 58, 59,000 at the beginning of July, and now we're sitting at 63,000. So as much as it's been a very boring month in general, we have actually made some progress, and we have bounced in a key area, right? The level that's kind of separating us from here and 40,000, right? So when it comes to the bounce, it's good, okay? But where we're obviously sitting is we're sitting with a little bit of a time lapse of a real breakout, right? The breakout, again, just to give you guys quite clear, it's kind of indicating for me that we hold this level, very likely looking for some breakouts here in September, October. And it's some good breakouts, right? It's basically breakouts to get Bitcoin back to $90,000 to $100,000, which is still a possibility in 2026, right? But when it comes to what I'm expecting for August, right, is that, what are we trying to do here? We're trying to get entries, specifically long-term, specifically spots, right, for the two slower monthly candles. Now, if you see kind of when we start with all these different pumps, right, there's the two smaller candles, right, and then we get the big one. Right, that's kind of the play here, right? The play is to get in, because remember this time, guys, this was a tricky time in crypto as well. Very difficult, but we did get RSIs down. We did get a nice little flush out, and it just started off with catching these little two, which again, you kind of look at it's 30%, right? It's 30 to 35%. It's a big entry and a big amount of gains alone when it comes to that. But ultimately, what we're doing is to create space. Now, again, you pay attention to things of here, there is 5 people in the club. Here, there's 10 people in the club. And here, there is 100 people in the club, right? And here, there is 1,000 people in the club, right? That's literally the basis of how things work here, right? 5, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, right? That's how fast things start to rally up when it comes to interest, people coming into the market, people buying, doing all these different types of things. So again, I just want to highlight to you, we're here, right? We're between the 5 and the 10 people in the club right now. It's boring. When you get to a club, there's just no one there, no vibes, right? Just cool it out. At some point, the vibes will start to pick up. So plan for me for August is 2 plays, right? We might start the month off slightly a little bit reddish, okay? But the main thing is holding the big support of 58,000. But I do see in the month us rallying up to 70 to 72,000, right? That is the major play. Then from the next month after that, we'll obviously see how things play out, but I'll probably see a little rejection, and I do see a breakout happening when it comes to September, right? And then more or less this level, right, possibly by the end of the year, or possibly 80 to 90,000. That's the one play. Again, what we don't want to see this month, right, or maybe some do, maybe some got cash and want to buy extremely low or be preparing for low, is a close or really starting to break below 58,000, right? That opens up doors now to $40,000. Okay, so that's kind of the play. So when I in between these things here, I kind of look at risk to rewards and say, okay, cool, I'm going to enter here for this play over here. It's a good trade, right? And then it's quite clear that if we here to the downside, right, then it makes it quite clear for me that the next opportunities are sitting down here, right, for even bigger gains in the future. Okay, but like I said, we also around the corner at any point, one green candle takes it all away, right? So I remember when we were over here, there's still bearish views when you're here. When this happens, there's no more bearish views. So I kind of want to be pivoting and be preparing for both scenarios, right? That is how I want to come into play and simply work with risk to rewards and simply be patient and know that monthly time frame is the best entries you get in the market, right? So those are my plays there. Now, the next thing I want to speak around is obviously altcoins. So guys, yet again, one sign that's pretty good right now that we really want to hold within August, right, is the double bottom. Right? Double bottoms are a good place, right? Double bottom over here restarted the cycle to the upside, right? So double bottoms are a good place. So that's a first kind of good sign that we have for now, okay? Nonetheless, if we look at the candle, right, the candles are quite important. So also going back to Bitcoin quick, the candle is indicating the next one's going to be green. Right? When you have these kind of small half candles, it's not like a crazy pin bar candle in the opposite direction. It's actually a decent candle to say, hey, bulls are going to try attempt in the next month. Right? Very good chance that we do see another green candle to upside. And same with altcoins. Altcoins are actually leaving a wick. So if you look at this candle over here on the monthly, right, these are actually, they tend to be pretty bullish candles. Right? You could see when there's this big wick like this, how we tend to then move momentum. And you can see after that, there was another wick and we had another move to the upside. Right? Then what it has, right, just to show you over here now, is this body, we want to see a closing green body by the end of the week, right? But even if it is slightly red, the wick gives me an idea that the alts are going to push, right? So not only do I see a $70,000 push in for Bitcoin, I am looking at a push for altcoins to actually go to this trend over here. And then hopefully in September, we see the breakouts of those areas over there, right? Now, the big one that I just want to speak around today is ETH. Now, ETH looks slightly different, right? ETH is actually on the verge of possibly, we'll see by the end of the weekend, right, engulfing a monthly candle. Basically means that ETH, you know, if you go a month back, 2 months back, right, ETH is kind of starting to recover nice and strong. So the only thing where ETH is kind of sitting and holding right now, right, is it did lose this little trend, right? And that's why we are sitting in this literal tight range of the market right now. And it's between two levels. We're literally sitting here and we are sitting here. Bulls are holding here, bears are holding there. We have this like short range fight. You know, you zoom into the Bitcoin chart right now, okay, and you just see it's like we're in this war right now. Look at this. Fight. I do want to remind you again, this, right, is what happens when we get to resets of cycles. Like it's just this phase where it's just choppy and it's that depression phase, right, that we speak around. Not much gains, not much drops, just nothing, boringness, absolute this. Like we're in that. And that's the play over here. Nonetheless, we're breaking one of them pretty soon, right? Now, I want to go back here to ETH. Now, ETH for me is definitely one of the stronger tokens right now, and it's actually slowly starting to become a beast, right, without us even noticing. Now, where you see real gains in the market, and this is why I say that A-grade buys and things like that are super important, right, because you actually don't notice the gains, right? You actually don't realize the gains that are happening. It seems like it's moving slow, but even if you look at ETH as a whole, we're already 22% up from the recent lows, right? It just slowly starts building in the background, right? But nonetheless, right, this is where ETH's at. If you go look at the main trend all the way here from 2021, right, to early 2022, we are back at that point. We are bouncing and we are starting to engulf. So this candle, I'm pretty bullish on, that even though we might see a small start to the month of possibly a little bit of redness, I do see us actually really starting to move to the upside when it comes to ETH, right? ETH has become one of the urgent tokens for me to accumulate, right? And not only that, once it does have the next, this is why it's sitting like this. Look at this, right? The monthly breakout. So don't be surprised the small start to the red, but a breakout, I wouldn't be surprised within August, if not by September, that we do sit with ETH above $3,000 again, right? I think it's a big opportunity right now. Now, it's not only just the chart itself that's back in that, right? It is obviously the other charts that come with it, right? Is a very long trend of us breaking on the ETH dominance to say that not only is ETH looking strong, it's looking stronger than altcoins, right? And the last time we saw strength, guys, and a long-term break, right, was when 2021 alt season happened, right? Now, it's not to say, hey, alt season. What I'm trying to say is having a leading Ethereum is very good for altcoins, right? And we haven't actually seen a long-term breakout, right, all the way since the 2020, 2021, when we had the crazy run, right, specifically with altcoins. We had a good run of Bitcoin recently in the last year or two. We didn't really have it so much with altcoins, okay? So ETH is a big player, and we started to get those signs again, right? We're starting to get to those players of like, ooh, ETH is starting to show strength, okay? So ETH dominance means that ETH outperforming altcoins, right? Really good sign for us to actually have this dominance, you know, show weakness. Now, again, when it comes to Bitcoin dominance, there's no doubt about Bitcoin's been dominating the market. We are just starting to slow down. Recently, over the months, we're not seeing that raging, right, run within Bitcoin, right? When it comes to the dominance thing, it is slowing down. Anyone knows that slow down is when reversals happen at any point, right? We are slowing down the zones, we're losing trend by trend, and at any point, once it loses supports, right, there is a big drop to the next major supports, right? So this could be something to get excited for the next couple of months at any single point here, but the big reason there is Ethereum, right? So Ethereum is something that I've been taking a lot more seriously recently and accumulating, right, very much to Bitcoin as well, okay? And this is the next play here, is Ethereum to Bitcoin. Guys, this is a very long trend, right? Like I said, the last time we did break trends or have a real long breakout, right, was the times of the previous run, 2020, 2021. And the crazy thing is this one's even longer, right? It's a very long trend we're fighting here. We are fighting all the way from August 2022, Ethereum to Bitcoin, right? Which means there's a very good chance that over the next couple of months, we do see an outgrowth of up to 80 to 100% of Bitcoin, right? And the same point, I'm still bullish for Bitcoin for the future, right? There's no doubt about it there for me. So ETH for me, very much accumulating in these zones, and I'm actually accumulating below this trend, right? This monthly trend that we're seeing here, because I don't think there's as much time as what we think. Right, so I'm accumulating ETH. It's kind of become one of my top priorities. Then I want to speak around, a couple of tokens, right? When it comes to strength, and what I'm basically paying attention to this is, like I said, I do think all altcoins will have their little rallies and their times and these type of things. But what I'm kind of paying attention to now is I'm kind of looking at, hey, in the depths and the hardest of the markets, right? What tokens are making progress and what put in a really good monthly candle, right? And what is a little bit closer to possibly breaking out first. And then I think literally the moment you get a live candle back into those markets, every couple of days, new ones will launch and we'll catch those, right? So I kind of been paying attention to where the players come in and kind of tokens that make sense that to still be around, right? So the one I do want to speak around and show you guys a little bit of strength here is Sol. Now, Solana is slightly lagging, right? It's not crazy bull just yet. Okay, but I do want to explain to you guys yet again how close we are to the weekly breakout. Okay, so if you look at this over here, this is the weekly and monthly breakout. Okay, and from here, I am seeing between now and seeing an opportunity between now and obviously September, October type of regions, right, is a push up to the $130, $140 range. Now, the only thing on the downside here is it's slightly behind something like ETH. Right, it might take another month of playing in this range, right? And it's quite clear that the accumulation zones on Sol right now are sitting between this $60 and $70 range, right? This is kind of where the hot zone comes in over here. But I don't want us to be surprised if we do see a 50% month on Sol, right? We are actually a lot closer to the breakout trend than what we think. Okay, so this is one just to pay attention to. When it comes to the monthly, right, no crazy bullish momentum just yet, okay? But the candle isn't super bearish. The candle actually has a wick again to the upside, and very likely we're going to see a possible start of redness into a green engulfing candle. And I do see a possibility of us hitting around, the late 80s to the early 90s when it comes to August itself. Within September, I do think there's a fat candle that comes at any point. Extremely oversold. Right, an important chart to also do with all of your investments and your tokens is to pay attention to where they are Bitcoin-wise, right? Again, I think everything's going to kind of be behind when it comes to ETH-wise. ETH's looking pretty strong. Okay, so here's an important chart, guys, when it comes to Solana. That's the chart, right? So you come down, you look at all the momentum all the way since 2020, right? And we are back at the trend line, right? And not only that, if you kind of look at recent plays over here, we are not far either from the breakout to the upside. So you kind of look at this and you see, okay, like, hey, we could see a Sol to Bitcoin breakout anywhere in the next month, right? And again, something like that, and a play in a bit of strength, up to 70% to the mid-range, right, of outgrowth over Bitcoin, right? So for me, Sol, again, ETH, Sol are kind of coming back. Remember how I spoke about, 2-3 months ago, how ETH and Sol are getting damaged right now, and Bitcoin. Right, if you look at altcoins, they all got wrecked over the months. They got wrecked a lot earlier, but Bitcoin started catching up, ETH started catching up, and so did Sol. They're getting to a point where they're accumulating now, and the strength's starting to slowly come back to them. So the urgency of getting them, I think they're getting to a point of, close to bottomish range, right? And I think there's a lot of strength to come into play when it comes to Solana. Then I want to speak around Chainlink, guys. Chainlink is actually showing strength right now, and it actually put in one of the better monthly candles within this month. And again, if I'm seeing strength and seeing outperformance when it comes into the hardest depths of the bear markets, right? For me, Chainlink, it's one of those tokens that are just chaining and linking everything together. And I think it falls a part of all different narratives and plays. And anything that's glue within an ecosystem or within a space, right, for me is always important. But secondly, they've always been the leaders, right? So for me, fundamentally, still makes sense that it can have a great future. But secondly, good monthly candle, strong monthly candle, and very likely we could see a start of redness next month and very likely a breakout in Chainlink on the monthly. From here, there's easily, possibly in the month, again, in August. I don't want to sit and say we're going to do the 100% move in August. I do think, however, we could see a candle move up to anywhere of up to $11, $12 in August. And in September, I see move up to 20, right? Like that's kind of the plays. If I look at the big wedges we're seeing here, I'm looking for plays kind of, where we're looking to move next. And at any point, I'm looking at this range up here, right? And that for me is a strong move of up to, again, 100, 150%, But I'm looking at September, October for the real speed up. Nonetheless, 40% ahead from entries that we're seeing right now, right? Then I want to speak on XRP, right? XRP Army. I do think your time is slowly starting to come. Now, XRP, the first play that I want to speak around is I do want to speak around how it's basically at these areas of previous resistance that it sat for so long, right? XRP sat here from 21 to 2024, 3 years, right? Sat in this range, right? You got to remember that range becomes support. Another token sat in a range like that before, right? And the token was basically Chainlink. So if you look at the range, right, it didn't sit as long. It nearly did, right? This one sat for nearly 2 years. XRP sat for 3 years, right? But look at this, right? So it sits in this long range where it does like nothing for many years, and then it finally breaks out. When it breaks out, it has a rally. And then what it does after the rally is it comes down and it tests the previous high of that accumulation zone, right? And it came down to this area over here. I still hold my X, yes, I do. And my Pulse X and all those things. All that stuff, we'll see what happens there. Like I got them. Let's see what happens. But nonetheless, I'm seeing XRP kind of be in this position over here. This is where I'm seeing XRP, right? Retesting the range that it broke out for many years, and then after that, we saw a very strong rally in Chainlink, right? So the same type of patterns are coming into play here. We had the big rally off, and I see us back in the zone over here. Now, again, the signs for me of why I think it's going to have a decent month is obviously the candle. The candle's a good sign. And then secondly, I think it's going to have a move up to the trend line. Okay, and the good sign is, high time frame, we hold this. This could be a bottom area for XRP, for many months, and a nice move to the upside again. So if I look at this in the next month, right, where it's sitting at right now is kind of entries on spot and long term that I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing this accumulation between this, this mid 90 and mid 105, type of dollar range. But in this month, I'm seeing a push up to around 1.2 to 1.3. And very likely, if we see the breakout in September, that's where the bigger candle comes, and we could actually see a move up to around $2. Right? Then we'll speak around the future and the highs and things like that. The XRP is one that I'm seeing some opportunities, some strength starting to build up. Right? I'm seeing exhaustion from the bears. So what I'm seeing in a lot of charts is they've been dominating. Like bears have been dominating the last couple of months, but they're slowing down. Like volumes tapering down, slowing down. And the only reason I would see, let's say, another drop in the market is the capitulation reversal. It's the pin bar, right? If the market needs it. And the market's got two ways that we're waiting for a reversal when it comes to a restart of the cycle, right? The first one is we come down, we accumulate, pin bar, and we shoot up. The second one is we just accumulate for some time, depression, and then we disbelief and we start to move up. So we're not guaranteed the shake because there's been many shakes that have already come into play, but that's basically the two ways markets start to reset, right? So XRP is in play. Then I want to speak around Injective, guys. Injective really starting to, like, if you look at any token right now, you don't see in a lot of them, right? Other than maybe Hyperliquid and things like that, you don't see volume going up. Right? After many months, you don't see interest or volume going up like this, right? Volume is starting to move up here, okay? Secondly, long monthly trend has been broken, right? The candle that I'm seeing right now is not super bearish, okay? Again, I think the whole market have a small opening of down, but I see this actually absorbing to the upside over here. So my targets when it comes to Injective, right, for the August kind of move, right, is I'm looking at us probably the areas of around $7 to $7.5. Then I do see within September a push up to around $13 to $14, right? One of the leading, a token that's starting to really show some strength, though what's smaller, so possibly bigger gains when it comes to this long break of trend that we're seeing over here on the monthly, and one that I'm personally accumulating quite a bit of, and in the right narratives within the space, right? Then I want to speak around Uniswap. So guys, very much if Clarity Act goes through, right, decentralized finance is very likely to explode, right, and have a very strong pop-off. For me, and the more I kind of look at it and I look at the plays here, I'm like, whoa, like Uniswap been around for a long time. Okay, many still use it, right? But ultimately, like, look at this, guys, right? You're finding a trend all the way from end of 2024, long monthly trend, putting in a great monthly candle in a market that is absolutely smashed right now, right? In the right narrative space of if that news comes out, it's in the perfect time of things, right? And possibly leading the market right now, right? So if we look at Uni now, Uni is a token that I've been starting to accumulate, right? Not only that, I'm starting to build a couple of positions in it, right? And so you start accumulating here. It's got this resistance over here, right? And that's kind of where it stopped now recently. And the next resistance sitting at $10, right? So something is saying at any point, right, there's going to be a squeeze here, right? And again, bearish views are basically below the monthly here, right? So I kind of look at this in the sense of saying, okay, like I'm accumulating here, but something's telling me a fast speed up here at any point, and the chart's saying that too, right? Risk rewards make sense here. So Uniswap is another one I'm really paying attention to, guys. And then I want to speak around Hyperliquid. I think Hyperliquid's been doing incredible things. I actually think the next month we're going to see a small drop, right? It's starting to lose a bit of steam now, so don't be surprised if the drops get a little bit quicker, okay? But it's going to come into monthly support. And I do see that a good area of, where I'm kind of dabbing my toes into things and accumulating and DCAing in is this area of this mid $40, right? $40 to $50 range. So this is a token that I see a start off here, and I do actually see it engulfing over the next month or two back to the highs. I think it's a token that does get into the $100, $200 range in the future. It makes sense, dominating in a bear market. So one that I don't want to chase, but now comes to opportunities where I can possibly accumulate this token over here. Now, guys, I want to ask you a question. This lovely stream we are doing here is with WEEX, okay? And I wanna send you guys some money today. Who has a WEEX account that has used my link, right? And the account's active. Please put your user ID in the chat right now because I'm gonna send some money to your account. All right, let me know. Let's see here. Let's get here, internal user ID. Okay, in the chats right now, give me a user ID if you have one. If you use my WEEX link and you have a WEEX account, I'm going to put some USDT in your account right now. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Let me know, guys. We bring in a lot of giveaways back. I want you guys to push through the hard times. Shout out to WEEX, massive shout out to WEEX. Absolutely like dominating and growing incredibly well in the bear markets. And remember, guys, it doesn't have an account. I will be doing more giveaways next week, Wednesday, for WEEX. So make sure that you are there with your WEEX accounts. There's also incredible sign-up bonuses. All right, follow them on social media, get $100, 5x position airdrop. Right, there's a lot of incredible specials here, volume bars, a lot of different things here for you guys. So shout out to WEEX. Thank you guys so much. Okay, user IDs. Let's see. Okay, let's go. I remember this too. I remember this too. Okay, let me bring this up. Using my link. Haha. Someone's getting money. Let's give you $200. You want $200 USDT in your account, yours. Trade it, withdraw it, do what you want. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Internal transfer. Okay, give me a second. Let me figure this out. Okay, here. Okay, let's go. Guys, this is my personal USDT. It's real USDT. You take it. It's I'll eat bread tonight. It's okay. Okay, 603-614-2237 at withdrawal address. Okay, so they changed the withdrawal thing slightly. So let me just give me 2 secs. Wow, now I have to verify. How's these guys? So, okay, come on. I'm just live. Okay. Yes. Okay, cool. What's about to happen? Woof. Beef up the security a little bit, huh? Must say, good security. Okay, done. Bring up quick. Okay, done. Let me know if you got it. Let me know. Let me know. Did you get it? Did you get it? Okay, next one. This one's in. Okay, let's go. $200. Just give me a second. I gotta add this. There's an extra step here. It's great security though. Just takes a little bit of time. Okay, USDT. Okay, let's go. So this one's right. Amazing. Okay, so guys, I'm giving you today to get yourself a WEEX account. Next week, I'm doing way more. Okay, 3, 2, 5, 6. Guys, I think you must give me. You must put some user IDs in the comments. Not your emails with the user ID, just your user ID. Then I can add these things before the show. Maybe a little bit quicker. 2744. Okay, $200. Oh, $200, guys, in a bear market. This is good. Did the other person get it? Okay, withdraw. Confirm. Okay, done. Done. Guys, have a fantastic day. Love you guys all. See you guys all on Monday. Have a great day. Bye-bye.